Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cave Trolls Podcast. My name is Terry Smith. This is going to be episode 27. Just so you know, if you're keeping track, if you have the notebook at home or the scorecard,
probably better than us.
This will be I on the bingo.
I-27. Ladies and gentlemen, I-27.
Bingo! You gotta have like an old dude just like in the background.
It's not fair because now they have those cards that they
I know,
use.
the
stamps.
The stamps.
Well, they're cheaters, is what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
It's like every single bingo.
Old
Off.
bitches.
My grandma used to have like 12 cards like at her like station.
Yeah.
And would get so many prizes from winning. Now it's all cheap and they only get so many.
Yeah.
You know, gambling with old people is just not what it used to
I
be.
know.
It's not.
With me today, I have Jordan.
Hello.
And I have John.
How's it going?
And special guest Amy.
Woo!
She's my roommate.
Yeah.
She lives upstairs. She looks after my kid when I'm not home.
That's true.
Sometimes I just like feel like you just like walk around in like my shoes too.
I do. I wear your clothes at night and I just dance around.
She sits there and is like, I wonder what it's like to live a day in Terry's shoes.
And then you literally
I
walk
pretty
around
much
like,
know that. I'm like, I'm the man of the house now.
It's not hard to do. To fill my shoes does not take much. I mean, like sleep a lot more, shave a lot less.
I shave a lot.
You need to eat at least 10 times more hot dogs.
That's true.
I don't know if I can do
Man,
that.
I think we got our quota today.
Yeah, I had 3 hot dogs today.
Emily, I think at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
She's like moving up in the world.
No, I had 2. There's a third one in the fridge. I saved it for later, just in case. After the bourbon, I usually want a hot dog. It lowers my inhibitions a little bit. So I'm like, I can have another hot dog.
Yeah.
Hot dogs are good for
It's
me.
only one
Mama.
more, right?
It's a cheat day, just like yesterday. And
The day before.
Yeah, see, like a lot of people, they're just doing it wrong. See, every day is my cheat day.
It's July. It's my cheat day.
That's why Monday's just a bad day, so you go out to eat. Friday's just cheat day.
See, I just switch
Yeah.
my day
Then there's
often.
the weekend.
Exactly.
Whenever I eat the bad thing, that's when I switch it to my cheat day. But then I still cheat on the cheat day. I'm terrible at diets.
I've been pretty good, and then I was like, oh, what can we do? And I was like, oh, we're going to Jordan's house. I'm like, better make rolls for me.
6 of them down before dinner's even ready.
When we
I
showed
did eat
up,
a few.
I mean, today's the 4th of July. I
Yeah.
keep forgetting.
Woo, America.
I forgot like 3 different times.
Well, it'll be
Jefferson,
It'll be
Hamilton,
the 6th when
Washington.
Exactly.
Goes
When,
out,
when
but-
this goes out, it'll be the 6th exactly. But you got to remember, because of Independence Day, the movie, today is not just American holiday.
No.
This is the one for the world.
Exactly.
That
This is
speech
our
that he gives as
Independence
the
Day.
It's
president.
like one of the best speeches
Oh,
of
it's
all
so
time.
President
good.
Bill
It's-
Pullman.
We'll not go quietly into the night. We will
We're not gonna go down without a fight.
I saw all the British exit stuff, the Brexit shit. They're all quoting that movie, and
Yep.
they're like,
No,
so they're quoting like a fake American president, and it's like they were already independent.
Like,
About
when
a movie
John Oliver
called
started talking
Independence
about it,
Day
yeah,
Yeah.
he
about
mentioned
alien invasion.
Oh my God,
When
so
John Oliver mentioned that
ridiculous.
he
Yeah,
he,
that's the one I was
yeah, he
thinking
was
of.
talking about. He's
Yeah.
like, this is about a movie about a country that left and got their independence from you.
Oh yeah, they're like Britain is normally what countries are getting independent from.
And they're breaking away from the European Union. They're
That they
still
chose to join.
Yeah, they're still the United Kingdom. They're not independent.
Exactly,
Nor were
and
they
then
ever.
Scotland's like, so can we leave now?
Honestly, I
Because we
think
kind of want to be part of the EU.
Not
That's
to
why
get,
we
like-
stayed 2 years ago.
exactly
or
not
a year
not
ago or
a
whatever
year ago.
it
Yeah,
was.
it's not going to be a super political podcast. I want to like this is not what we're going to talk about all the time. But do you think Scotland's just going to break off now?
I think they might,
I think
because it
they're
was
gonna
pretty
revote.
close.
Yeah.
It was pretty close the last vote that they had,
It was
and
in the
part of it.
Yeah,
Well,
look,
Chloe and Adam live there.
The
Right,
gloss
yeah.
over Jordan's face is just
Like-
how most of our audience was just
Just
like,
like-
the fuck are you talking about?
Oh man, wrong podcast.
It's
Delete.
like, guys, if
delete.
this is what we're talking about, I'm leaving. Because I've got nothing to put forward right now.
I mean, it doesn't really segue into it, but the topic we want to talk about today is kind of like growing up nerdy in areas that aren't necessarily ready to foster that.
Perfect fit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up in northern Michigan, which if people don't know, northern Michigan is basically the dirty South. Like it is,
Oh, yeah.
Confederate flags
Yeah.
anywhere, people with fake Southern accents because we're not.
It's
in
the
South.
deep north.
Like the one thing about the rebel flag that I hold problem with, and I hold lots of problems with it, but the main one, other than it being super racist and super sad that you're still flying it, but the main one is that we were never part of the South. Like
No.
Every time I see it up here, I'm like, wrong side.
and when we weren't part of the Union, guess what we were? French.
Exactly.
Like I never understood that.
What I think is funny is that you moved from up north to where you are now, which is basically
the same
like
thing.
just a small town
Deep
of where
north,
you were,
South
just
Michigan.
down in southern Michigan.
I had a playlist on my iPod that I used to call Orton Tucky to Alabama when I went to college.
I mean, a lot of people like when people see like commercials of Michigan, they show like Tequamanon Falls and shit like
Holland.
that. Yeah, exactly. But they always show like lush forests and rivers. I'm like, most of Michigan is just like Ohio. It's cornfields.
It's just desolated cornfields
Sand.
and kind of racist
Iowa, too.
people.
Exactly.
Sandy
Highways. Yeah. Oh yeah, and mounds of sand. and that's where, like northern Michigan is one of the few places where it is all forestry. So picture this. So you have young nerdy Terry, future cave troll. And I have no way to get any of that out. It's not like it's not like you change your mind. You're like, oh, I'm going to be nerdy now. It's a mentality that you get into. I've always loved dragons and Power Rangers and
Who
trading
doesn't?
cards, but they didn't have any of that.
Where do I go?
I had to drive an hour to get to a mall or a Walmart. like I wrote a blog actually. I'm plug my residenceevil.kinja if you want to check out my blog. But I talked about in there how if you wanted something, you had to like bribe a store owner to order it for you because there weren't any specialty shops. If you wanted magic cards, if you wanted comic books, you had to go to like a bookstore or a Walmart, try to see if they'd order anything for you that they could get in because you were not going to find it. You know, the only stores that we had that did not sell camouflage jackets sold liquor. Those are your two options.
And your mom wasn't going to order it for you with a credit card.
Hell no. My mom didn't have a credit card. Are you kidding?
Exactly.
Look at me. Do I look like anyone in my family has credit that's not in the negative?
Credit-worthy Terry.
Oh, my credit's amazing because I
I know.
never touched a credit card in my goddamn life. You know why? Because I grew up in the fucking north. What am I going to buy? More trees?
Cows.
Camo.
Guns. That was the one
Ammo.
thing. The reason why I always had money as a kid is I didn't buy guns. Like, video games were not even a mainstream thing in my town until Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then everybody
That
bought
was a
video
big
games.
thing for video games.
It
like,
really was.
It brought people who didn't play video games. They're like, oh, I can push buttons and I know like AC/DC.
Exactly.
Like,
Like, the PS2 got like a bunch in my town because of the Guitar Hero, and then the Wii took off because of Wii
Yeah.
Sports, and that was a huge household phenomenon. So in like to this day, other than like Xbox 360s with like the kids that were exactly our age, every home has a PS2 or a Wii because of Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Or Wii Sports, but that's it. That's like the only video games you'll find.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't even have internet until like we had internet. We had like dial up, and then we had a couple of like fake ass cable modems. But really, we didn't have high speed internet until like 2008, 2010, and even then, it was only a few rich people.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have widespread internet until I was, like, graduating high school.
You had like
Sounds
one
about right.
rich friend, like with a rich family that had internet, and you were
had
like,
Wi-Fi.
how did that work?
Exactly.
Like,
That's how
did you
LAN
get
parties
Let's
that?
go
worked.
there.
Exactly. I want to go to there. Like, if we wanted to play a LAN party, the shitty thing about all the Xbox 360 games and a lot of computer games is you need the exact same version. So not just the game, you need the same version.
Yeah.
So you had to either hitch a ride to the library or go to the rich person's house in town or whoever had internet.
And
Make
update
sure
to that
everyone's
version.
updated.
Exactly. Everybody
Yeah.
had to have the same version. And it takes an hour to drive to everyone's houses.
Especially up north.
And then you imagine the people who don't have licenses. So if you're like 15 or younger,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you going to do?
Gotta go
Mom,
pick them all up. Or
Johnny's
just leave 'em.
mom.
Please drive me to this place, please.
Help.
And that's the thing is like once if you didn't have the shit that you needed for the weekend, you were fucked. You weren't doing anything because you weren't going anywhere else. Because the parents didn't want to drive anywhere because it was
Yeah.
so far. You'd catch a ride on like the bus.
Yep.
And bus rides in my town are like an hour long.
Yeah.
There's no bus stops. Everyone gets drove to their house because everyone lives in BFE.
We didn't even have bus service down here.
See, so you want to talk about? So what was it like growing up nerdy down here? Because you guys can speak more to that since I didn't do it.
Honestly, like part of it was that like my family couldn't afford a lot of like video games and things like that. So Kyle had them from his dad. Like
This is your
from,
older brother, right?
Yes, this is my older brother who has a different dad. So his dad would want to just like pay for things so that he
Love
didn't-
me.
Yeah, exactly. And then he'd be like, "Yeah, but I can't see you this weekend." Have a video game. So Kyle had them, but I never wanted to play them because I didn't think I would be good at them. But my parents would always buy me books.
Oh, okay. See,
So I
that's
always
completely
had
different.
books. Yeah, because my mom was always like, we're too broke. Like, I can't spend money on anything. But my dad was always like, don't feel bad about buying books. Like,
Because the book.
exactly. Books for kids is a good thing. Like, that's, we can always find money for that. So we would go to used bookstores a lot.
And
that was
now
like,
you have a mountain of books.
I know, and now I have the mountain of
They've
books.
seen it. Like when you were on the
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
last time, there was like a small like mountain of books, and that was just what we said on the table. Really wish
Oh,
we would have
yeah.
got footage of when you emptied out your bookshelf.
Yeah, I just did that again recently, and he texted the picture to one of his friends to convince them to want to meet me.
Do you have that picture still?
I should.
If you have that picture still, send it to me.
Send
I will
here?
put it like
Yeah.
right here and just show
Yeah.
you guys the mountain of books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
It's-
they were just always, that was always what I wanted to do. Jillian would be like, "You want to hang out?" I'd be like, I'm busy. The
Reading
new
books.
Artemis Fowl just came out.
I'm sorry, I'm hanging with my other friends. Oh, really? Can I meet them?
Harry and Potter.
Yeah, just go
and,
pick up
Lily
Artemis
Alvin.
Fowl 4, and they're all right there.
Well, that was my dad used to like even when the internet came out, and I wasn't savvy. I was 8
When
or
the
something.
internet came out.
When the internet first debuted.
When Al Gore invented the internet.
He would so I didn't know when things were coming out, but he would find out all my favorite book series and he would come home with them.
So that's really neat.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I didn't read till I was like 15. Like, I read one Harry Potter. Like we told this story
At
actually
Harry
last
Potter.
time. Yeah.
Yep, I remember.
I read Harry Potter. I thought it was stupid. Never read it because I thought that was what novels were. Never picked up another book until I was literally
well, like
I was
any
12.
of the other ones, yeah.
I mean, I read books through school, and that's why I had the hint that I liked reading because I would read them all in like a day. The teacher would be like, "So we're gonna start chapter 2 in class." I'm like, "No, I already finished."
Done.
Chapter. What?
I remember when I got to high school and I realized how shitty my school is. No offense, I love all my teachers. You guys were great teachers, but the curriculum was kind of shitty. I mean, we're up north, not a lot of standards up there. Again, very hick. Like it's as hick as you can get. But like I finished the book and we're in 10th grade and the teacher's like, yeah, that was gonna last like the whole semester. I'm like, it's a 300-page book.
Well, and that's like as
We can't finish this.
starting to do teaching and stuff. It's like you realize that you have to slow down to the speed of your slowest student. You
Right.
can't speed up to the speed of your fastest
No,
student.
and I completely
because you
understood
leave
that.
students behind. And that was like I was next to my teacher. We were sitting in a circle, like all reading The Crucible, and
Oh, that's a good book.
it is a good book. And so I I was like 100 pages ahead of them, and he like looked over and he was like, "What the?" And I was like, and he was like, "Whatever." And then like at the end of class, he was like, "Do you want to just read other books in class? Like I know you read a lot. You already finished it, so like as long as you're still reading, don't care."
I remember being yelled at by my 11th grade English teacher. We read Bradbury's Painted Man. Like we should have read that in like 7th grade, but we
Yeah.
were reading it in 11th grade. And me and all my friends, we love sci-fi. I was like, this is a really cool book. I need to read more Ray Bradbury. And so like we read it, and the teacher was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That was going to be the book that we were going to read. Like, what are you guys going to do now?" And I was like, "Are you mad at us for finishing the book?" Like, we'll do the homework. He's like, "That's not even. Fuck it. You don't even need to do the homework. Just go." And we like, didn't have to do the assignment. He just gave us an A. Like, you guys read it. You read the book. I'm guessing you understand it. You read the whole fucking thing.
My teacher, the teacher that I had, he was just like, just read like Scarlet Letter and like write some stuff, and I'll give you extra credit.
Write
Like,
what the letter
I feel
was.
bad.
Like, if you get that, you've
it's
read the
A,
book.
by the way.
Pretty sure everybody knows at
adulterer.
least what the letter is.
After Easy A, I think that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
became well
pretty
known.
widespread.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
'Cause
about
that
that,
was like
yeah.
That was the
like-
thing.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, that was what she was
It was
reading
like
in
a
English
parallel,
class.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. It was like very much like
Yeah.
a parody of that. Do you ever wonder, like, some of the books that we're not allowed to read in schools and some of the books that are, like, required to read in school?
I know you're like,
There's-
oh,
Yeah, so, like, there's a vast difference. Like, they made you read The Scarlet Letter? That's a fucked up
that
book.
is just like slut shaming 101. It was like, how could you? And then
just-
at the end, she doesn't even get like rewarded. She just
No.
gets not punished anymore. And it's like, what the hell are you teaching teenagers?
I just thought about that the other day. I was at work and I was reading one of the Night Angel series books, and
Good
somebody
books,
came.
Brent Weeks.
Yeah, somebody came up to me asking me how it was and what it was about, and she has an 11-year-old daughter that reads a lot of books. So she's like, okay, so like, is there like sexual like themes in it or
Yep.
gore and violence? And I was
Yep.
like, well, so far not a lot.
Oh.
Like, in the first book, no, I told her like there's
Okay.
stuff in it.
Okay.
But I was
so
like,
much in the first
No.
book.
I mean, not compared to other books.
Really? What books are you reading? Like, the whole thing with all of the guild rats? I mean, like, there's, like, sexual, like, trading going on because like Rat has his bitches, like it's prison.
That's true, but to an like
But.
anybody from like 11 to like 16 is not going to
Yeah,
understand that.
you just won't pick up.
That's
it's
gonna
kinda-
I
go.
seriously
That's
won't
something
pick
that
up on
goes
it.
over their
It's like-
heads
is it?
until they
Okay.
read it again.
So that's just me because like again I read it like way later on, so I was like,
Exactly.
oh.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking about. I was
like a lot
I
of
kept-
I've
anyone
noticed that
knows-
about things later where I'm like reading descriptions of books I read as a kid. I was like, that was what was
See,
happening.
like, I
Exactly.
never consider
wasn't
what you
savvy
gloss
enough.
over because it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. A kid would be used to that. Like I watch a
Right.
lot of stuff with that. Like my nephew, like we showed him Dragon Ball Z when he was like 8. It was like
Yeah.
you can recognize that this is fictional violence.
Yes.
But I never really thought because I'm like I have a daughter now. Like something I need to think about is like, what do they just gloss over?
Right.
Like, what
Oh,
would they
yeah.
not notice? And
I
that's
didn't.
a good point.
I didn't think about that until I was thinking about it more later that day because I didn't start reading until I was 19, so I didn't know what books had what in them.
That's still. I still don't know if I'd recommend a 19 to children. Maybe
No,
a year
no.
later. Like
Yeah.
12, I think it'd be good. It's just like there's a lot of sex in that book.
Yeah.
It's
no,
a
that's
lot
what I
like-
told her. I was like, I would not recommend this book to
Those-
your 11-year-old
It's
daughter.
about an assassin.
Exactly.
like all the
To
innuendo.
be fair, though, there's not a lot of good shit. Like that's not like there's violence in almost everything.
Yeah, you like look at the Hunger
Right.
Games, like
You
she's
know?
murdering other children.
And even that, like
that's a
there's
good young adult book.
there's
Yeah.
a book I read called Arme Amelia or something like that.
Never heard of
and
it.
it was just one of those like young adult teen books. And spoiler alert, if you are reading this, that's a random Penguin Club book.
Turn the
Skip
podcast
ahead
off.
10 seconds.
don't watch this anymore.
But it's like it's very
Spoilers.
much like young adult. It's just like her like playing in the river. It's like her in like early or late 1800s about like right before electricity. And like
Man, you know how to sell a book. She's in a river.
Yeah,
There's no
she's
electricity.
She's a
and
tomboy.
toddler.
She's got pigtails, but her baby sister dies in it.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, and it's like, and that was recommended to children, and it's like, oh man, that's darker than I would have
But
thought.
like read when you Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert. Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I read that
That's a
right after
fucked up
Sarah
thing.
died,
Yeah.
and I freaked out.
I never read
like-
I never read the book,
Ugh.
but when I went to church camp and they showed the movie and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun. This is way better than I thought it would be."
The
and then they
new
just
one or the old?
yeah.
old
Oh no, the newer one. The
Yeah.
one with the kid who was in Hunger Games.
Yep,
Okay.
Yeah.
Peter Millar.
Yeah, it was like we were way
believe
younger.
is his
back.
name.
And then she just dies.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Bridge to Terabithia. My bad, I guess. But I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, we had a
There's a bunch of I had like a group of little kids that I kept like I looked after at camp, and I was like, the fuck? She just dies. We
Yeah.
can't show this. They're like, no, it's a good life lesson. I was like, church is fucked up.
What is the lesson? We had an 11-year-old cousin who died, like, in a pool. Like,
Yeah.
previous to that, my parents bought me the book just being like, books, Amy, you know?
Right.
And not knowing that the little girl dies in it. And I'm
Of
like
drowning.
14 when this happened, and this was right after she died, and I freaked out. I was
Jesus.
like, what the fuck? And they were like, we didn't know! And I was like, how could you?
It's so often you see that, especially in like a church community, because like they just see like, oh, this doesn't have demons or orcs in it, so it can't. It's got to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in my class, like to get my confirmation to join my church, which I did not do.
I did.
I went through the whole class. I
Church.
didn't go to the ceremony. I didn't get all of the money that they give you. I didn't know there was money. If I
They
didn't know
didn't
there was
give
money,
me-
I
I didn't
would've
get any
finished the
money.
class. What? Oh, well, when you get confirmed in Episcopal church, just like when you go through what's it called when you go to like not like a Catholic church and you go to class every
Catechism.
Catechism. It's just like catechism, but it's for Episcopals.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very similar. And they would not like one of the church was trying to boycott one of the Lord of the Rings movies. But this is a classic thing. Same with Harry Potter.
I know.
And but like none of like our teacher, which was one of my friend's moms, like they didn't care. They're like they loved Harry Potter. It was a whole thing. But then like on like the sheet of like the church recommended books, like the head church of the Episcopal Church in America was like Boys in the Hood, really good seminal movie for these kids to watch. I was like, have you ever seen Boys in the Hood? That's some fucked up shit with Ice Cube.
That's
okay?
hilarious though, just because Tolkien based his stories off of stories in the Bible. And
Yeah.
Everybody survives. There's no
Exactly.
women. It's the perfect
Exactly.
church story.
Exactly. You think they would love that shit.
There's really no women in positions of
There's
power.
2 women. and they're both
evil. Like they Galadriel cannot handle the power that she already has.
I was talking about Arwen and Eowyn.
Okay, Arwen,
They're
Eowyn,
boring,
okay,
but they're not
But
evil.
they're shown to not have any sort of moral backbone because the one's just trying to get with Aragorn the whole time, and the other one's like, I'm just gonna listen to my daddy. Like, there's no strength there.
He's her uncle.
Uncle.
Oh, is that?
Theoden is her
King
uncle.
Theoden.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really did not know that.
I'm not gonna like
Really?
get all up in your Lord of the Rings
Seriously?
territory, but I know
No,
that's true.
no, really? You guys are fucking with me.
No, that's her uncle.
That's her uncle.
All this time, I'm not even. I didn't. I thought
No.
that was her dad this entire time.
No,
You're
his son is the one who gets thrown out, right? He
No,
throws out his son, and that's her
his
cousin.
son is killed.
Oh, his son
That's
is
her
killed,
brother.
and that's her brother that gets thrown out.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes.
I'm talking about the elf. I'm talking about the elf.
Oh, you're
Yes,
talking about
Arwen is
Arwen.
the elf.
Yes.
Their name Eowyn and Arwen.
I know.
Brandy Bucks, Bullywogs. Are you fucking kidding? Let's just like, come on. Let's just think it through a
I
little
don't
bit,
think
Tolkien.
bullywogs were in.
That's not a real thing.
Okay, what are the
Which one?
Bolfers?
Nope. That's
The
a
Gaffer?
dwarf.
There's Bolfers.
There's Bolfers
There's
in Lord of the
Bolfers.
Rings.
Yeah. Is it a surname?
That's
Yep.
just what they called them.
I'm
in the
pretty
book.
sure. I'm pretty
Bolfers
sure it's
and
the
Brandy
same.
Bucks are both Tolkien.
True.
They even
Bolfers,
brought it up in
Brandy
the
Buck.
Epic Rap Battle.
Okay.
But my whole point is
I'm
all
thinking of
their
Bolfers.
And
names.
then there's
are
the
the same.
Yes,
Buckleberry Fairy and
Yes,
Brandywine
yeah.
something.
What is Arwen's father's name?
Arwen's father.
That's why I was confused. I know
That is her
Eowyn,
father.
that is
Why
her-
can't I think of
I
it?
would have thought the elf
No,
was like. I was like,
Eowyn's father. Yeah, Eowyn's
like,
father's
what?
there.
You're
Or
talking about
uncle is
Agent
there.
Smith.
Yes,
yes,
Agent
that's who
Smith.
that's why I said Agent Smith. I was like,
Okay.
I don't know their names, so I was like, you guys will know what I'm talking about. when
Man, I
say
know
Agent
his
Smith.
name. I don't.
I
Move
know
on.
his
We
name.
should move
but
on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Frodo.
I'll yell it later. If they're listening to the podcast, they'll know.
How
why.
do you not know it? You know how many times you beat me at Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit?
Every time, except for the last time because I didn't play with you guys.
I didn't
Sorry.
want to play anyways. I would have forfeited to you.
Terry got browbeaten into it by me, and then I apologized 20 minutes in. I was like, this was a huge
The
mistake.
main problem that like people
My
don't realize with
bad.
the flavored Trivial Pursuits is you can't just like really like the series.
Yeah.
You have to be an expert on the series to answer those questions.
And it's like, what was the weather like on the 4th day of filming
No,
of the
exactly.
and it's like, who the
And
hell
even
I
Jordan-
knows
did hear
that?
that you
Jordan
almost
knows
got that question about.
Oh, I totally did. I
don't
was
remember what
a
the question
month
was,
off.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Like it happens every time to me. But like you're an expert on Lord of the Rings. I mean, other than, like you can't think of the name right now. But then
Yeah.
when I say expert,
It's a
loosely,
mind
like,
blank,
it's
but-
like your favorite book. You know what I mean? You read
Yeah.
it. Like it's one of the books that you've read, even though you don't read. Well, you read now, but you didn't. But you
At
still
the
read
time
Lord
that
of the
you read
Rings.
that.
Exactly. And like even you would have a hard time playing it because like the shit they have is like so mundane, and it mixes. You have to have the movie knowledge, you have to have production knowledge, and you have to have book knowledge.
It's so
Exactly.
frustrating though, because some of the questions are like, "Who carries the ring to Mordor?" And you're like, "They got a fucking pie piece for that!" Like, and then it's like, "What is the middle name of the fictional character who lives in the forest, who they encounter in the books, but they do not encounter in the movies?"
Did they actually say
No.
Tom Bombadil's middle
No,
name?
they
No, they
No.
don't.
Okay, I was
Exactly.
gonna say.
I was like, I know you know
I was
what
like,
that is.
are you talking about Tom
Bombadil.
Bombadil? That was
It's
one of
Tom
the
Bombadil.
questions.
No, but it's shit like that, you know,
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah. Tom
such
Bombadil
a
was the
dearth
answer,
of
and,
like
like-
difficulty.
Oh, I would have had that in a second.
I know his name. I don't remember exactly. 'Cause, like, again, I've read the books,
And then it's
but
like,
I don't
recite the
remember
song you
movies
say.
that well.
Who was Tom Bombadil married to?
Oh, I don't know.
Shoot.
It's that magic chick. Is that not enough for Lord of the Rings? It's that one of the 5 chicks in Lord of the Rings.
If you go back to The Hobbit, there were no chicks.
This is why when you read Tamora Pierce books, there are lots of women in it, and they
You're
all
talking
have
about the Wolf
do
Whisperer?
things. Yeah, no.
Wolf Speaker.
You have a spell for it. I heard
Only
there's a
'cause
lot of sex
It's
in
only
those
because you're a
books.
tricky. There is, but it's glossed over.
Tell
It's like-
them who Tom Bombadil is married to in the comments.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Actually,
that would be great. Also, what Agent Smith's name is. Also be awesome.
you mean like in real life, or do you mean?
No, I mean the character he plays in Lord of the Rings.
Now I can't remember his name. I almost said
I don't
Viggo
know any
Mortensen.
of
I'm
these things.
Nope, that's not him.
Normally names are
Nope.
the only things I know, but
You don't know shit.
I know all
You don't know
sorts of
Jesse-
shit.
You
That's
grew
your
up down
IMDb
here. You guys don't know
IMDb
nothing.
knowledge.
What do you guys know about
Is
growing
this-
up?
is this
nerding
like
up
an
and
old
frustration?
thing?
you guys had malls.
Okay,
We
let me,
didn't have
let me
money, though.
explain how my nerdy frustration worked out. So I grew up, I'd say like,
Oh no! Look at me! I'm Jordan. I was on the swim team. I had abs and had sex with girls. It was so hard to be a nerd.
It's true, I was there.
I'm done. No. That's what I would say if I was Dave. But
Ooh.
Burn.
he's not here, so
Dave, listen to the podcast.
He's
You can
not
hear
gonna
all of our
listen to
sick
the
burns.
that's why I said it, because I knew he wouldn't listen.
Put in the comments so Dave knows.
Exactly.
Send him a Facebook message.
But basically from 3rd grade through, I would say, like early high school, all of my friends who played video games played like all the sports video games. They didn't play anything other than that. So I would play other games and come to them and talk to them about it all the time. They're like, oh, well, cool. Good for you.
Cool,
It's
you
like,
fucking
okay.
nerd.
And then I didn't tell anybody about comic books because every time I did, they wouldn't listen
No.
and nobody cared. And I was the only one that read comic books.
I was
Yeah.
even like being like a group of nerds that liked all that stuff. I was the only one who went out of my way to get comic books. Yeah.
Exactly.
Even to this day, like until I like really hung out with you, none of them really read anything. So it was just me. Like I have a pretty big knowledge of comic books. No one gave a fuck, and that's why like how we became friends so quickly. 'Cause
I
you're
know.
like, oh, I read Spider-Man. I'm like, fucking kidding me?
I'd more than read Spider-Man.
You were wearing the Spider-Man costume the first time we talked about it.
I
That's
know.
what brought it up. I was like, so like you like Spider-Man? Or you just wearing the costume? Because I didn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
Like from Adam. So I was just like, so do you like actually like Spider-Man? You're like, yeah, I love Spider-Man. I was like, so you like watch the movies?
I'm wearing the costume right now. Of course I love Spider-Man.
And I was like, so you like watch the movies? You're like, no, like I love Spider-Man. I've read every single issue. I was like, I've read every single issue. Can we be best friends?
Love it for
Exactly.
Can we just
Spider-Man.
become best friends?
a
Just like
nerd
stepbrothers.
from Southern Michigan and a nerd from Northern Michigan come together.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Wait, who has to become the water thing?
I'll be the water. He can be tampon.
I will not be Heart. I will not stand for that
That's
shit.
a whole different thing. You're thinking of Captain Planet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't care what
Wind.
you're talking about.
Water. Hut. Yeah, there was like 3 other kids. I'm pretty sure I just named the white ones and
Earth.
then the Indian kid.
Yeah. Was it Earth and Fire?
Yeah. No,
maybe?
Fire was-
Is this
Fire was the white
Avatar? And not listening anymore.
Yeah,
Fire
Fire was
was
the
the
whitest kid.
Yeah, he was a redhead. Yeah. Pretty sure he grew up to murder the rest of them. because he was like a pyro, right? Or he could just put out fire. It's a very specific power. Along with Heart, I got a bone to pick with Heart. What the fuck was that kid doing that I couldn't do with my eyes?
Supporting them morally.
Yeah, that monkey was sad. It was covered in oil, you son of a bitch.
Just clean it off.
Use the Dawn soap.
I'm pretty sure he was fucking one of those dolphins.
Oh.
Don't say
That's
that.
not how I remember that at all.
And also, you're right. Dawn soap. It's on the commercial when they're
I
cleaning
know.
the penguins.
And now on the picture, you've got the little chicks that have the oil on them. And
That's so sad. Don't
I
put it
know.
on your. Don't put that on your label.
That's
know,
messed up.
But I mean, like, that's just like classic Americanism. If we were just like ignoring it, that's actually a pretty good
It's like,
idea.
oh,
to
I'm
put
gonna
it on
buy
there.
this soap because it's so sad. They're
I would do
cleaning off
that.
the
I would be
ducklings.
between two soaps, and I'd be like, this one has duckies on it that clearly got saved from that BP oil spill.
It's $7 more, but
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Who cares?
You
Actually,
know
I'm
they did
too
not
poor
use
for
Dawn.
that.
You know they didn't because they could not afford 2 million gallons to clean up all the fucking penguins. There's
They
no
probably
way
just
Dawn
wiped them off with
seals
like a wet
and-
wipe.
Yeah, and seals. There's more animals there. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
But don't the
Yep.
seals eat the penguins?
Yeah, but none of them should be covered in oil.
Yeah.
That's not part
Okay,
of the
now
ocean.
we're talking the circle of life.
Circle of life, and it moves us all.
We've been on such a Lion King kick
We
lately.
really have been like
You were
every
at, everybody was over at my house earlier, and you literally went out, looked out the window. My dad was standing there on the deck, and you're like, "That's definitely Mufasa looking out on his
When I talked to
land."
your dad even not. He was like, oh, he felt. I'm sure like he kind of did not understand what the fuck I was talking about. Number one, because I was like, you're like Mufasa, and he's like, okay. Like, your dad's kind of stoic, but then and then he just kind of looked at me, and he was like, I was just like looking at the lawn, like it needs to be mowed.
It's because our lawn does not grow grass; it just grows weeds everywhere.
I noticed that. What the fuck's wrong with your lawn?
Our whole yard is sand and weeds.
Because you guys live like in like one of the more luscious areas around here. Like you're surrounded by like trees, and there's a lake off the distance, and then you guys just have like this like sand pit that you built your house on. You know, no big deal.
Our lawn looks like when Scar takes over the Pride Lands. It's just
Yeah, most of
dust
our lawn is yellow right now.
It's because it's been really, really dry in
and we
Michigan,
haven't
which is
watered.
really
We haven't
sad.
hooked up the sprinklers. We haven't done shit.
Because the water is honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it's the water. We can't afford the water bill, and that's why I haven't.
And honestly, it's lawn. It does not matter. It is not.
we're never. It'd be different if we were hanging out back.
There'll still be grass there.
Never go outside. It burns the skin.
We were outside once to actually like have a nice meal.
Yeah, we went out there, and it was right after you mowed the lawn.
I mowed it initially because it was growing really bad and Grayson was getting bitten up.
Yeah.
Our dog Grayson was getting like bugs
Yeah.
and shit.
I think
And
I mowed
now,
it twice.
but because there hasn't been rain, it hasn't grown again.
we go out there
So
to
it's-
use our salmon ladder.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did a
Yeah, that's
cartwheel out there once.
You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down.
But you
and
could
go
just
home.
but you could just as easily walk over dirt as you can walk over grass.
It really is, and
It
we
just
just run out
hurts
there.
because
real
it's
quick.
stiffer.
If we had more money to pay the water bill and like put down grass seed, well,
Honestly,
who gives a shit?
I'll do the math. I think we'll be okay if you want to set up the sprinklers. we
I'm
can
not
have a
that
lawn.
interested in it.
You got sprinklers. Didn't you?
I
I'm
did.
not gonna say bought. I'm pretty sure you stole.
I
them.
stole. No, my mom gave them to me because they had them from before they put in-ground sprinklers.
So your
in the house.
mom stole them.
My mom stole them. Correct. My mom, the shoplifter.
Yep.
I mean, your mom's strong. I don't
She's-
doubt you could just take.
It's
things from
funny because she
somebody.
doesn't look beefy, and then she's just like throwing furniture.
We have a saying in the old country. They're so stupid that you can easily take things
Things
away
away
from
from
them.
them. What is that from?
It's from New Girl.
Oh,
I never say anything original as the people know on
I
this
know.
podcast. It's all quotes.
we've been watching so much 30 Rock that I'm pretty sure all my language is just like Liz Lemon filtered through.
Pretty much.
I think I already
Yeah.
quoted her twice in the show. So.
Yeah,
Or some
probably.
Jack Donahue.
You said
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
to. It's Donna Gee, you Irish bastard.
Isn't that what I said?
You said there's a whole
There's a
episode
whole episode
where his
about
brother
how-
says Donna He, and they get into a choking match.
They changed their name to Donaghy to distance
right.
themselves from their con man brother
The
and
Donna
father.
He.
But one thing I did want to talk about, because you mentioned that like all of your friends played like sports games. That's kind of how it was where I grew up. It was like either motocross or sports games.
Right.
And I love both those games still.
Yeah, I played them with them and enjoyed it.
Exactly, but once I kind of transitioned into more of my core group of friends that were more nerdy, you know what I mean? Like Dave. Dave's one of my oldest friends on the planet. Dave would never touch a football game.
Yeah.
Gives
Yeah.
no fucks. So
playing
like,
Dragon Age or
Exactly.
Elder Scrolls.
and now I don't get to play those games as much. Like I didn't play all my sports games until I started hanging out with you.
We'll get NHL.
I want to get NHL so bad. I was just NHL 2016 was not very good. It didn't get reviewed very well. They took out most of the modes,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to waste the money on it. But like,
I had it.
Did you?
I like it.
you like if you? I mean, I'll totally play it with you because I mean, I'm sure it'd still be fun for just like one-on-one matches. But like, I love MLB The Show. I loved the 2K football games. I wasn't as big into Madden, but I do like Madden.
I just played Madden because that's what my dad always wanted, and that's what we got him for Christmas. So.
I love the idea your dad was just like, oh, just give me Madden.
Yep.
Because that's how your dad would say it. Because he's a very start.
I mean, he
Madden.
started out playing like the Atari and all that, and then he would play like, shoot, I can't remember the name of the whatever the original football games were for like the Sega Genesis. And
Yeah, well, I mean, like Madden
Pong?
goes
and punch
pretty far.
boxing too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Madden goes pretty far back. Like I think the first Madden was in like
95, I think.
no, it goes farther back than that, man. Like they had Madden on like the Super Nintendo.
I don't know. We'll look that up later.
It's like I'm staring too long. They're probably wondering why
This
you're
is
still
boring
staring.
for the
Terry had
audio.
an epiphany.
No, it's not. They love that. They finally get a break. They're like, "Fuck, you finally." quit
Shut
talking."
up! I need to order at McDonald's. I'm waiting here for 15 minutes.
I love the idea that someone's listening to our podcast in the drive-thru and it's just taking for a really long
I
time.
honestly
hold on,
did that
Terry's
the other
still
day.
talking.
Wait, so if you're in the drive-thru right now, we'll take a quick 8-second break so you can order.
You better know what you want.
Quick 8-second break. Go.
Get me juice.
No juice.
And
All
we're
right,
back.
we're back. How many seconds was that?
That was
that 8?
that was like 16 seconds. So we gave you twice as much
yeah,
time.
yeah. So get your
We can
fries and
count.
move on.
Yeah.
I
So
did that when I was listening to
so I hope
Cracked
you
the
enjoy
other
your
day.
meal.
I don't. Fuck you. Bring me a McChicken.
Yeah.
probably
I hope
just
they
gonna be
put
me
ketchup on
listening
your
to this later.
McDouble because you don't like ketchup on your McDouble.
You know what's I've never heard of that. Like until I moved down here with you guys, like getting different shit on your fucking sandwiches. That
I don't
like
go to
a-
McDonald's.
Ooh, if you add Mac sauce to McDouble, it tastes like a Big Mac, just smaller.
Without lettuce.
Without lettuce, but who needs the lettuce?
You do. You're dangerously vitamin deficient.
How much vitamins do you think is in a thing of shredded lettuce at McDonald's?
Okay,
It's
more
all
than
water.
there is in the
I'm pretty sure
burger
it's
and
plastic.
cheese that you're
really
eating.
good tasting plastic.
It's just water.
Sawdust.
It's just water.
And also, you guys are
I'm
all
gonna be
fucking
sad
up.
when you die.
Every
It's
time,
just
every
water.
time I see
Are
you guys
you-
get a McDouble, I want
I
to throw
will.
something at you.
I really
You get the
will.
double cheeseburger. It's only 17 cents more, and you get an extra piece of fucking cheese. It's totally worth it.
Irrelevant.
You're irrelevant.
Yeah.
Go to McDonald's. Be an American.
Can't eat it.
Why not?
I get sick.
Get a fruit and yogurt parfait.
Then don't eat it.
It tastes really good.
I don't. It doesn't even taste good to me anymore because I smell it and I remember being sick.
Yeah.
Like, do you throw up or do you shit yourself? 'Cause
Both.
I shit myself.
It's honestly 50-50. The other day I ate at the Royal Diner. I had a salad and I went and threw up.
What do you mean the other day? You mean when we were with you?
No. That was.
Oh, I was gonna say
No. This was a few
I was
weeks
like, you did
before
not
that
have
with
a
my parents.
salad.
You
Don't lie to the viewers.
That was a
you
crepe,
had a crepe
and it was
and then
delicious.
ordered another crepe.
And then I ordered a dessert crepe to go.
I didn't even have a salad.
That was like my most
Super
mature
good.
moment.
You
I
ordered
felt,
salad,
I felt so much like you did. You never got it. I'm still upset with you about this.
About the salad, yeah.
That's just as much your fault as it is hers.
It
Okay,
is. It
so
is your fault.
backstory: Jonathan ordered a meal that was supposed to come with a salad. The waitress
got
asked what kind of dressing he
the
wanted
Euro
and
platter.
everything, and they came. She brought no salad. She was obviously new. She came back and
It
checked.
had to have been like her first day.
It had to have been. She came back and checked
she
Dave's
was.
order. She's like, "Do you want those eggs
she-
scrambled?"
she-
And then back again, "Do you want hotcakes or this?" And it's
Or
like
hash
all the
browns.
things she should have asked initially. Jonathan never got a salad, and we said, "Do you want us to ask?" And he goes, "No."
You're like, it's no big deal, and I get it. Like, you know, like you don't want to tell her like she didn't do her job.
Our
right?
family too. We never correct
You guys
waitresses.
and I understand. Like you guys are really nice, but it would not have hurt. And the thing is
No,
like,
she wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
I saw the
No.
salad they get. It's like a pretty big salad. You got gypped a lot
You
of
should
food.
have brought. You could have brought it home. I could have eaten it, and then you would have eaten the rest of my leftovers.
See, that's the thing that gets me is
Hold
like
on.
it's lettuce that actually goes through me. Like,
Really?
it
And
hurts
that's the
me.
thing. Anything fried, it's like sweet stuff doesn't bother me as much, but like greasy stuff, it's a lot of times I'll just feel nauseous and then I won't be able to throw up or poop, and that's worse. I would rather take a big shit or vomit than feel shitty and not
That's
be able
gonna
to
be
get
your
it
pull
out.
quote when we're like, and Amy stopped by on the podcast. I would rather take a huge shit or throw up.
then be on the podcast again.
I would say that for a pull quote. That's a funny pull quote. I want people to know I'm funny.
I thought about like creating
I'm
some
really
sort
hot.
of website that we can just like lure people with like some sort of porn or something, but then give
Who are you
fake ass
gonna-
reviews so they can just put like a really good pull quote. So for like really shitty products, like you know like.
Boys
Bowl
Pats.
movies, like you know, like the Rampage movie or like Duke Nukem.
I forgot about the
I
Rampage
know,
movie.
it's
Oh
like,
my
those
god.
really shitty-
Duke Nukem. Oh my
Yeah, and
god.
it was or Postal. He did the Postal movie, which is
Yep.
also really shitty. So like, you just give them like these really shitty, like really good pull quotes. So like, you're like 10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up. The Cave Trolls.
Oh my god.
Do you get paid for pull quotes?
For creating them or for using them?
If they use it, or do they just ask your permission?
They ask your permission generally.
You don't get paid?
Not usually.
I guess it
Never
depends
mind.
on
Because
who's
things like-
asking.
Yeah, scratch that idea.
All about
Back
the
it up.
Benjamins.
We're done here.
Yep.
What has this all been about?
Shut it down.
Shut it. Wrap it up.
I'd do it for a Hamilton.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. You guys know that Jefferson was on the $2 bill?
We never looked it
No,
up.
he totally is on the $2 bill. I promise you that.
I'm getting a third phone call. I rejected it because it matters.
We are professionals, goddammit. Don't hold up your phone.
No phones in the office.
All right.
No phones in the office. It's a brand new phone, and you
There
just
is-
threw it.
I know I left it at your house an hour ago too.
know.
Felt really bad.
How do you like your new phone?
I love my new phone.
What's the review that we can put up for it? Like, we can break out for 30
It's
seconds.
durable. I just threw it across the room and it's fine.
And say the name of the phone.
Samsung Galaxy S7 Active.
Can we have our money now?
Give it.
Money, please.
Money. I have never done anything wrong in my life. I know this.
It
So-
is known.
So what I'm getting from this is, like, I was kind of like stranded as like a nerd, and that's why I have some of these funny stories. You seem like you weren't stranded so much as you didn't have anybody to relate to.
It was more shunned.
Yeah. Yeah, right. No,
Shunned for
we laugh,
the-
but yeah.
But true.
Pretty much, yeah. I still played those games just on my own time and didn't talk about it
See, I remember
until I had somebody to talk about it with.
when I was in junior high, like just after junior high. No, it was like 9th, 10th grade, somewhere around there. Magic the Gathering / comic book store opened up in Alpena, which is about half an hour away. So I could finally go there. I could buy comic books. I could buy Magic cards on every single Wednesday. I could go play these tournaments and meet other nerdy people that lived in their mom's basement. So, like, admittedly, they were more nerdy than me, but it was still people that I could relate to. They smelled bad, but it was still okay.
That's
Who
the
cares?
worst.
It
That's
really
the
is.
worst.
I know because
you're
it's such a solvable problem.
Okay,
It is.
fellow
You know?
nerds, shower.
Just
No,
take
seriously.
a shower.
And-
Girls, it will throw
You'd
them
be
away.
surprised, and it's
Throw
not.
them
It's not
away.
even like I'm making
Blow
fun of
them
the
away.
thing. Like, I would never make. I stink a lot, but like, you shower.
You take care of yourself.
It's a completely solvable issue.
It is.
You know.
I am actually guilty of that, of being like, I'm not going to shower. And then Brenna will be like, Amy, come on. Like, I have to ride in a car with you. Please shower. And I'm like, ah, shit. Too lazy
we
for
all
this.
need more friends to tell you when you stink.
Yeah.
I think is the moral of the story. That
It really is, because Jillian was always that friend, too.
I'm like,
My whole life is built on a friends will tell me when I'm smelling.
you're a guest, so it's okay. But I love that you're just like dropping all these names of people, and everyone's gonna be like, "Who the fuck is she talking about? Did they mention her before?"
Other
we do that every
people.
time she's on too. Name
Yeah.
dropping.
That's just saying, she's not a podcast professional.
I'm
like
not.
Us.
No.
She does not make tens of dollars like we do.
I'm a teacher
Since she's here,
/
just let
elderly
me tell you
woman.
about my friend Johnson, my friend Leroy, and
Leroy Jenkins.
I know you're
know
joking, but I have
anybody-
friends by all
Do
those
you know
names.
anybody named Johnson?
I don't.
I do.
Do
With
you
the
know anybody
last
named
name.
Leroy?
Yes.
Bullshit.
Okay. I don't personally know.
I know
Leroy.
Bronson.
I know through me.
Hey, still counts.
Yes. They know a Bronson too.
do.
If they watch that podcast, which they should.
Oh my god, I saw Froggy
Quinoa
Fresh
crackers.
at Second and Charles.
Foggy Fresh.
Froggy Fresh.
No, you did not say
What is his
Froggy
name?
Fresh.
Funky Fresh.
What is
It's
it?
not Funky
Funky
Fresh.
Fresh.
You're
Froggy-
talking
What,
about
a different
son.
person?
She's talking about Drew.
You're talking about Drew, which
Yeah.
is son of Andy.
Drew.
Okay, I
Drew
saw him-
Stanzak,
Collective. Their collective is the Funky Fresh.
son of Andy. Drew,
That's the person
Drew
I saw
Stanzak
at Second and Charles.
is one half of Funky Fresh,
Yes.
the other half being Bronson. Two amazing rappers that were on this show
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago.
Go
But
check
they were
that
on
episode
Episode
out.
24. It's worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
Froggy Fresh is a parody
Oh my
joke
god!
rapper
I remember where I know that
from
from.
YouTube.
That's the Green Ranger guy.
Yep. Street Ranger.
No, I saw
It's
Drew.
called
Street-
Street
Street
Ranger. You guys
Ranger.
always sing Green Ranger. It's Street
Street
Ranger.
Ranger.
It's
We
funnier
will
with Green
unite.
Ranger. I've sent him many letters.
also does-
We will
You just got
turn
dunked
the
on.
darkness
I know.
into
Emily
light.
showed me all of them after you showed them all to Emily. Transitive property.
Just go check out Froggy Fresh.
It's really funny.
Check out
so good.
check out Son of Andy side B or Caffeine side B.
Caffeine.
That's
He
what-
was an
Be.
excellent Second and Charles cashier also. He's very nice.
Don't give away his secret identity.
That
It's
could
like
be-
telling everybody Batman is Bruce Wayne.
That could
What?
Why would you say that?
Just to be fair though, I've never seen Drew and Batman in the same place.
I don't think anybody has.
So he could be Batman.
Exactly.
Twist.
Yep.
Plot. twist.
This is why everyone listens to the
plot thickens.
podcast, because it's so riveting.
Yeah.
And the
It is a
twists
great
and
audio
turns,
medium.
You know. Why are you laughing so hard at me when I praise our podcast?
I was twirling my straw when you said that.
So I'm gonna bring it back a little bit to what we were originally talking
How
about.
dare you?
Okay,
What?
I'm
How
kidding,
dare
man.
you undermine my authority on this podcast?
You have no authority.
I am the
Respect
CEO.
my authority.
This gives you power over me.
You feeling, Josh? So bring it back. Bring it back. Roll it back.
Okay, so I didn't 100% lie, I guess, but I didn't.
Are you already retracting something?
I'm not
Redacted.
retracting anything, I guess.
Wait, the podcast is only been going 40 minutes. You're already retracting something?
Oh my God,
Ladies
we've
and
been out here for
gentlemen,
40
prepare
minutes.
for
So-
You did know
backpedal.
somebody named Johnson.
Yes, I did.
Backpedal, backpedal, backpedal.
But no, among my or not among those friends, I had those friends that played the sports games all the time, and then my closest friends, their parents wouldn't necessarily let them play a lot of like the other more nerdy games with like Magic the Gathering or other things like
because
that.
demons will come and take their souls.
Exactly. My
I've
dad
seen it many
was
times.
I've
at
seen it
one
1,000
point the
times.
same way.
Right. And we've talked about
But
this a little
those
bit.
friends did play RuneScape. That was the one game that for some reason they were allowed to play. I don't know why.
Lack
The
of
MMO
knowledge.
where you can like be kidnapped and shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you can be catfished.
It's
in
lack of
RuneScape.
parental
can
knowledge
summon
about what
things.
happens in those
I
games.
catfished so many people.
To be fair, it's
Jonathan.
just like how we talk about
Not on
RuneScape.
my account.
You know, you'd be like, how good can it be? It's made in a browser. It's the same thing that they say. How good can it, or like, how bad can it be? It's in a browser. Like,
Exactly.
It can
No,
be
my
porn,
dad-
by
my
the
dad-
way. It usually is.
Is RuneScape secretly porn? Did I not get to that level?
No, that's a different website. But you can find RuneScape porn.
It's a member service. You have to
RuneScape
pay
Red?
for that. There's
I'll
a
sure
regular
give you the
member
link.
service that I think was like $6 at the time. You had to pay
Yep.
for the $8 version to get the porn.
RuneScape Red.
RuneScape Red. It wasn't Red at the time, but that's what they call it now. That's RuneScape Vanilla now. The classic.
That's
you know?
boring porn
So
then.
is this all on YouTube, Red?
I don't know.
Red to blue.
Red to blue.
Left hand green.
Yes. But no, now
Yahtzee.
those nerdy friends that played
Woo!
RuneScape with me back then,
Mhm.
they couldn't really play any other games until Skyrim came out, and I was so excited that they were all getting Skyrim.
They got
Just
to play
because
Skyrim?
Because then you could play Skyrim.
I was playing Skyrim
Oh, okay,
anyways.
okay.
But
He was
Skyrim was
200 hours
announced, and they
in.
were all so excited about it, and then they were all able to get it, and then we all played it and talked about it.
I remember thinking I was like nerdy and I liked it, but I thought I was like less nerdy than like the Dungeons and Dragons kids. Because like I always thought that was like the epitome. I didn't know what Dungeons and Dragons was. I really didn't. I didn't really get it. I got that it was like tabletop. I was like, so there's no pieces and there's no interface. Like I loved video games. I loved comic books. I was a visceral kid. You know, I need something to hold on to or look at. So like D&D is all in your imagination. How fun can that be? That sounds stupid.
Super fun.
Until I got in high school, and I was like, D&D sounds like a lot of fun. Then I finally played D&D, and I'm like, I will never stop playing D&D.
Exactly. You think about those times when you were a kid playing with your friends, and you're basically playing
D&D,
D&D.
you were just in your imagination.
Just less structured,
Yeah.
really.
So,
I mean,
like,
you're
having
running
really-
around and jumping around, but you're role playing the
Right,
whole
and
time.
And they're
like-
going, you just got shot. You can't get up. And you're going, it missed me.
You missed me.
No,
It
I
just
have
went through my
Magical
shoulder.
cloak of protection
I
plus 2
blocked
to
it.
AC.
Exactly. Now it's more technical.
Yeah.
So
now
when-
there's rules.
It just allows for less cheating in real D&D.
Yeah.
So when like
Which is
they
why I don't
kinda-
play.
Right, exactly. When, when
I
they
rolled a
kinda-
natural one. Can I try again? No.
Come on.
when they crossed over to like playing like Skyrim stuff, did that kind of open like the floodgates to like more people doing more of the high fantasy nerdy stuff, Magic the Gathering,
Yeah,
dragons.
and some of those friends actually did play Magic the Gathering. I played with them in tournaments in like 6th grade and stuff.
That's
But-
and that like the Elder Scrolls games, especially like Oblivion, when like Skyrim was the big one, but Oblivion still opened that gate a little bit on Xbox
Exactly.
360.
For the people that started playing the Elder Scrolls, they remember Oblivion, and then Skyrim came out, and then that opened it even more.
Exactly, and that was even more. I mean, Oblivion was high fantasy, but it was like the super. I just speak with a British accent, and there's lots of races. Skyrim was we go kill dragons. You know, we are Vikings. We are
Here
Norse.
there be dragons.
What are you guys giggling about? I'm never making you guys want to drink ever again.
Jordan did something stupid, and when I had juice in my mouth, and I almost spit it all over the microphone.
That's what I'm here for.
But I mean, it was the same thing up north. Is like another thing that I said it took me a long time to get into Dungeons and Dragons, even though I was a super nerdy kid. It took me a long time to get into reading books, and now I read like a novel a week.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get into Magic the Gathering. You know why? Because I loved Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger, and I was like, this is the epitome of card gaming.
I didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh, and I loved Magic,
And
so I
Magic
hated
is
those kids.
far superior to most trading card games.
I would have hated
Yeah.
you probably at that
Oh,
point.
you know what else I hated to do? Board games. I
Yeah,
like board
I
games. Seem
definitely.
stupid.
That was
Really?
my favorite thing at that time.
Oh my god, that
No.
blows my mind.
now 90% of my time, like the 10% is with my daughter, 90% of it is with board games, D&D, or Magic the Gathering.
No.
Or
And your
books.
daughter's with you a lot of those times.
Right,
The
but
baby Bjorn.
specific.
go,
10%
okay, so I
specific to the
fire.
dog.
Exactly. I hang out with my daughter more than 10% of the time. Let's pull it back a little bit. My wife might
15.
listen to this. 15.
Will she
14.
though?
Listen.
Will she?
No.
Of course not. She has taste.
She'll hear us. She'll ask us how it went, and we'll say good, and she'll be like, okay.
All right, John, you're
Cool.
the only one we haven't heard from. What was it like growing up nerdy for you? Because you, like, a little bit different. You did grow up down here, but you were still segmented from all these people.
But
You were a little
sit
further
more,
south.
More of a city area.
I grew up in the most metropolitan of all four of us.
What, like, where?
Farmington Hills. An hour and a half out of Detroit. Here-ish.
It's not that far from like the Rochester
Before we
area.
go too much farther, let's
Do you know where Novi is?
yeah. Before we go too much
I live
farther,
right
let's
next to Novi.
let's show these things. So I was here. I'm more like here.
Yeah.
I was here. Where were you guys?
We're like around here.
That's for.
And,
It's a little lower.
Okay.
That's for like
I
Jordan.
don't know.
And
I haven't looked
who
at
grew up
a
in the
map.
same town, but we didn't speak until like
Every time
a
I
year
write, I tell
ago.
them from Michigan, everyone goes, "Do the hand thing." So I always do the hand thing.
Chloe did that on a like she okay. My friend Chloe was interviewing at a vet program where people in Scotland. They asked where she was from. She goes right about here, and they just were like, "What does that mean?"
It's America. That's like a very like obviously.
Yeah.
If you go overseas, they're like, "The fuck
They're
does
like,
this mean?"
"Why are you doing that?"
How?
And you go, "This is what my state looks like," and they're like, "Are you 5?"
The fuck is a state?
Somehow she got in. Go Chloe.
So, anyways, Novi. Farmington
I grew
Hills.
up pretty close to Novi, if that's a better landmark for everybody.
12 Oaks Mall.
It's a better
Yeah.
landmark for people who live in Michigan.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, what the fuck? They're saying we know Detroit.
Yeah. Call it close to Detroit.
Somewhere
Exactly.
in between Hicksville and
very,
Detroit.
Very white suburb of Detroit.
Yeah,
If you-
but- hey, there's a lot of Chaldeans though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are.
It's like 25 minutes out of Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
25
12
to
Oaks
30.
Mall is around that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Or
It's,
in that
it's a
area.
12 Oaks
super
is right down
Catholic
the street.
area, is what it is.
Not really.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Not his area.
Super Protestant.
Oh.
Yeah.
He grew up in like Methodist church, and there was
Yeah.
no Catholic church within like a
Since-
10-mile radius.
And then, just, like, to avoid, I'm going to make the jokes before they can. Just because white people, since we have no distinguishing features, it just goes by religion.
Yep.
That's true.
That's true.
And it's all different sects of Christianity.
Also
Unless you're
true.
Jewish.
Yep.
We're so boring.
just like- but no,
I don't
like
mind.
Jewish
I don't
people,
blame
too.
you for not listening.
But
'cause
seriously,
we're
but
boring.
like Michigan, because it's such a like especially like the North, like
Yeah.
it's just segmented into what religion you are. Are you Protestant? Are you Lutheran?
You know,
Are
and
you
the thing is,
Episcopal,
like, we all grew up
Catholic?
in different areas, but we're all still super white. Like, how broad of a viewpoint is that?
But
really?
half my family's from Pontiac and is not white.
That is true.
Yeah.
At least you got that going for
But
you.
they would never visit because I lived in northern Michigan.
Yeah, and they were afraid, probably.
I was afraid.
Legitimately, like, and rightfully afraid.
You know how many meth heads are in northern meth heads
So
and
many.
heroin and camouflage jackets. I forgot.
And also, they were sneaky meth heads.
They put all it was. They put their double decker, double wides farther back into the woods when they started
Sure.
distilling their meth and whiskey.
What?
Farmington.
Farmington.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I grew up in a pretty suburban area where, had I had access to everything, I would have started playing D&D at like 8 probably. Been reading, playing video games. But single parent household, I was always in daycare or kinder care, after school,
My house.
whatever, or up here from, call it 7 in the morning to 5:30 at night. And so whenever my dad would pick me up, it would be just, nope, we're going home. I'm cooking dinner. You're going to bed. And so I never had time to kind of go explore that. So any time I did have was just, oh, can we like go to Barnes & Noble this weekend so I can get like 8 more books?
Yeah.
Because like I'm done with all of them twice. So
Well, and
So
actually,
you already had you had the drive. You just didn't have the means.
Yes.
essentially. I gotcha.
Yeah.
well, and a lot of our nerdy stuff as far as books was that we read the same book series, and then
Yeah.
we would talk to each other about them.
Yeah.
Because none of my friends were very nerdy, because it was like there was this whole group of smart kids at my school that I wasn't quite smart enough to hang out
I was
with.
the same way.
Yeah, and then it was like,
Like
all
we're
of my
all
friends.
in AP classes, but like they enjoyed it.
Exactly, but they were like, I got like A minuses and they got A's, so they were like, no. And then
I was
yeah,
only kid who didn't read Harry Potter.
exactly, and then so Jonathan and I would read the same books, and then we would talk about them, and I would
many an email.
and we would
was sent.
email. This is like a really dated reference.
Oh,
we didn't
and-
have phones,
and
so we would
physical
email.
letters.
I wrote him physical letters.
Did you guys
while I was
have
at
internet
school.
down? That was one thing I left out with you.
We
you
had
guys
it at
had
our
internet?
I had dial-up.
We both
I
had
dialed for a
dial-up,
while.
and I would
Yeah.
email him from my school, and I would write Jonathan like actual letters. Like he would get
Why
them
were
in
you
the mail.
writing like this?
Because I have bad posture.
And green crayon.
green
Crayon.
green
In
crayon.
it was like
No.
middle school and high school
Yep.
that I did most of that, and I would tell him about the books I was reading
Yeah.
and things like that. Because I wasn't smart enough to be with the smart kids, I only hung out with the stoners, and like
It's funny
it
because
was like the two categories of kids in my school.
when basically throughout all of my school years, all I hung out with were the smart kids, and I was never the smart kid in high school. I was not academic smart.
Well, you're smart, buddy.
I'm okay with that.
I love it.
I'm okay with not being academic smart because none of them had common sense.
Oh,
I was the only
Yeah.
street smart person in that group, so anytime we hung out, I was the one that.
scatter.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was the leader for a lot of the stupid things we did, but I had common sense about the things that we did, so I knew how to not get us.
You did
either in
stupid things in a
trouble
smart
or
way.
Killed.
I mean, like, it's like some of the people that I went to high school with, like, those people are really smart. Like, they're not gonna do anything though because it's
They'll have a great job, but aside from that, they're not going to do anything very well.
the big thing that I saw, and like the reason why, like, I played sports, but I never stayed on the team very long because I liked free time. I got into AP classes, didn't stay in it very long because I liked free time. I like to do what I want, and like those kids like had no life. I'm like, I had the most fun probably at this table, but probably like in my whole school,
Probably,
like, in high
especially
school.
in high school, probably at this
Because
table.
like I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
fuck ton of fun because I just did whatever I wanted, and I didn't get in a lot of trouble. I mean, you didn't get in a lot of trouble either, but I mean, like you were still you played some sports.
That's not
and
necessarily true.
Getting arrested is not a lot of trouble. Everybody
No,
gets
okay.
arrested.
Yeah, everybody. I think
Okay.
everybody's been at least arrested once.
And
Right?
I got cuffed. I didn't get arrested.
Okay.
I've never been arrested. I'm sneaky. I mean, I've never done
I've
anything
never
wrong in my life.
Actually, been arrested, but my dad did put me in jail for a day.
I
Deserve it.
Yeah.
I got a peer mediation once in second grade.
The fuck is peer remediation?
Oh,
Did
I
you
was
get in
a
a
peer
scuffle?
mediator.
Did you get in a scuffle with a kid, and then another kid was the mediator and brought you to another teacher? And yeah,
I
that's
did that.
perfect.
Yeah,
See, I didn't
Nerd.
start.
that's all I got. That's all I got.
Hold on. I gotta do this right.
I never even got a lunch
Nerd.
detention.
Okay, I gotta do.
I
that
got
too.
lots of
I know this is a
detention.
blank piece of paper. Nerd. We got paper.
Why
I got
do it?
paper.
No,
days.
no.
Fuck trees. We live in Michigan.
Yeah, we got plenty of trees.
Got plenty of trees and fresh water. Bring it, Armageddon.
Yeah.
I'm cute. I don't get arrested.
That's fair. That's fair. I like before the beard. I just looked like I was like 6. So everyone's like, "Go home."
Yeah. Go to your
Are
mother.
you okay?
Do you need me to drive you? I'll drive
I
you.
was also really scared. So I just looked malnourished.
I didn't start getting into a lot. I got into some trouble in high school, but I got into way more trouble in college. Like I just like reached a point of like I don't give a fuck, and then it was just like down.
See, like I had one of those things where like not overcompensated, but like I like it was one of those fake it till you make it things. So like I acted cool until I actually became cool, but then I didn't realize I actually became cool.
Yep.
So I never capitalized
You never
on my.
do.
Right, so you never like
never do.
really went for it.
I remember, and this is do not validate yourself by how many people you sleep with. But
That's
it was one of those
true.
things after I got out of school and I realized how many girls liked me, and I was like, why didn't anyone tell me? And everyone's like, we just thought you were like too cool to know. I was like, I didn't know. And then I stopped being cool, and I was like, damn it, I missed my window.
That was literally like me in college. I got there having been really weird and nerdy all through high school. Didn't have many friends. I had like 3 friends for most of it. Emily was one of them. And
My
it was
wife.
like, yeah, his wife. And then it was like, so I was just like a weird kid. And then I like kind of got like a little better in college. And I started dating this one guy. And we dated for like 3 years in college. And then we broke up.
It was the worst time to have a committed relationship.
It was. And then we broke up. And everyone's like, oh,
Shout
no,
out to
I
my
know.
wife that I met in college.
Everyone goes like, no, I know like 6 guys who'd be interested in like getting with you. I was like, where? What? I had no one all through high school, and then there's this one guy, and then it was like a year of partying in college.
It's never one of those like regrets where I was like, oh, I was such a nerdy kid, never had fun before I got married. Like I had lots of fun, but I could have had even more fun.
I wish I had
never, like-
had more fun in college.
And again, it was just like that low self-esteem from being the nerd,
Yeah.
and like being, and like same thing with you,
Oh,
like
yeah.
kind of having to be closeted about it
Yeah.
a little bit, like because it wasn't very cool. And then later on, like again, like I mentioned this last week when I was talking to you guys, is like I didn't meet a lot of people I had anything in common with till like high school, and I didn't meet people that I clicked on like super great level until I met you guys. Like I still have lots of friends, I love them, they're always gonna be my friends, but like I met like my friends group. You know, like,
Yeah.
we always talk about our sitcom group.
my aunt calls it when we're all doing a thing in a few weeks, and my aunt says, Amy's bringing her whole band. and my uncle goes, I remember having a band.
We didn't meet our codependents until later on.
Oh, we were
It's
talking
also-
about
I mean, like you two both have like major degrees, but like me and Jordan didn't like go through like the 8 years of college like everybody else. So like we didn't meet those people.
4.5.
Whatever.
4.
You have your
But-
master's degree, and you
But the
have
content is
an art
equivalent to
degree.
like
Shut the
6
fuck
to 8
up.
years.
I have a bachelor's in fine arts. That's all. I'm going
So
next.
so where's the mural in the back?
Is that like a tramp stamp joke? I'm,
First of all, I do have one of those. Well, on my back,
I was
not,
like,
a,
you
not
don't
a
have
tramp
stamp,
stamp.
do
You don't know.
Prove it.
Sure, but
Please, sorry, it didn't happen. Can
Special
I not flash
treats
the
for our
camera? Is that
viewers.
what we're
Don't
seeing?
flash the camera. Unless you have tape on your nipples, and it's fine.
No, we're
I'm
not on
wearing
Twitch.
a bra.
No, but you
Oh,
can't.
that's
It's
true.
YouTube. You
That's
fucking-
true.
I'm not gonna flash the camera. Buy me a drink. We'll
The
talk.
camera will not buy you a drink.
Exactly.
There's no one back
That's
there.
the problem.
We
Oh
don't
my
have
God.
an audience. Clap, audience.
I'm leaving then.
That looks really bad. Playing Yahtzee.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors by yourself.
That was oh god.
I win every time.
My friend, who I'm not gonna name on the podcast, was talking to me, and she
You know
was
those
like,
37 people that are gonna be like, "Whoa, okay, we should drop that name."
it's one of those things where it's like she doesn't use her real name online, so I don't want to, and it's like
Was she a fucking like hacker who doesn't use their real name online?
people
It's
have done bad
2016.
things.
I don't use my real name. You guys don't
Do I
even
know
know
this
my
one?
real name.
No.
Okay.
No,
I thought
I
I
have
was the
other
grifter.
bad friends that you know, but and she goes, Amy, I think it's time you entered the real slut phase of your life, and I was like, I don't know how to take that.
Are you
Is
sure
that
I don't know
is
this
that a
one?
compliment?
At least
No.
you've seen- at least
I,
you've
you know
seen-
people who would say that, but
Okay.
you don't know
Not
this person.
previously a slut.
Not really. Not by like standards sluts hold for themselves, by like society standards a little bit. I don't know how to.
Standards.
I don't know what to say on the
What is
internet.
it? It's not like it's like on
No,
Kelly
like-
Blue Book. There's no like what are the, it's not in the ANSI standards book. Like
No, it's exactly. Emily and I were playing
Ants,
ping
by the
pong
way-
right when I first moved in, and she goes, "This is how Terry describes you to his friends." She goes, "She's not a slut, but she is loose with her body."
I never
was
ever
like-
once said that. Holy shit! No, I would never say that.
I would
she-
say that.
And then she goes, "The only one of his friends he said you'd be okay with sleeping with is young whoever it is." I don't know whose name I should say on the podcast.
I never said any of these things.
I heard some things, Terry.
I would say it to your face.
To be fair, Emily is known for making up things for a joke because it's funny.
Also, that's another thing is you can't tell when she's joking, especially
you
about me
can't.
because I am so either
Because you're
stoic
just
or
like
sarcastic.
deadpan, so I'm like, he probably said that, and in her mind's going, she's going, obvious joke, obvious.
I just want someone to like be like put in the comments like I was really enjoying the podcast until like Terry was like trying to defend that he never called her for
Yeah.
like an hour.
I don't believe that he ever did. I feel like Emily just likes to be mean because she does.
Actually, I think what I was saying is like
She's
you're
so
not
sweet.
easy, but you would totally get down with somebody at this party. It was probably what I said.
That's probably true.
And
God's
Emily
going
took that and
online.
twisted it to something totally.
She was probably like, I got the gist of it.
no,
Yeah.
my wife likes.
No,
to do
and
the
I
same
didn't
thing
take that in
your
a
mom
bad.
does.
I didn't take that in a bad way at all. I was like, that's reasonable.
Your mom and my wife will take the crib notes and say
Yeah.
the meanest version of that.
Yeah, and she goes, "This is what they meant," and they go,
And
"I
they're
didn't
really
mean
good
that."
at
They're
it.
really good.
Oh my
they do like
God.
a mean girl. Like
Yeah,
a mean girl,
exactly.
Except for they don't.
So you
mean
think you're
to-
really pretty?
So you agree? You think you're really pretty?
I know. He was like, "What? Who said that?"
On Wednesdays we were pink.
Yeah,
Terry, your
that's
beard
pretty
would look
true.
so good if you shaved it a little more.
I know. It would look so good if you didn't have
So
one.
Regina said that your beard looks ugly.
Don't shave your beard. I like your beard. I want
I
that
love
said on the record. I like your beard.
I don't think anybody around us doesn't like it.
No, everybody likes my beard except for like I work in like corporate America, so
But
like
if you
I
kept
can't
it
have,
trimmed, you
I-
know.
I have been.
Yeah.
But I still it needs to be even like a little shorter than this because
Really?
it's just too patchy.
Corporate America is ridiculous.
People also because of the beard and the fact that I look really shitty for my age, like think I'm like 40, but I'm like 12, so it does look strange on me.
Yeah.
Don't judge
I'm
people's
definitely 12.
I was wiping
Let's-
sweat
let's
off
take
of
it
his
down a
face.
notch, okay?
Listen,
Oh yeah, for those
We're
watching, it is like
related.
110 degrees.
it's
in here.
really hot out here. I was being nice.
Speaking of which, we're probably gonna end it here. Thank you for listening to the Cave Joel's podcast. It's been wonderful. So
it's been a
all right.
treat,
That's
guys.
a different word than I would use.
So glad to be here.
like, subscribe, check us out on iTunes, check us out on SoundCloud, check us out on YouTube, check us out on all the other things.
Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter, we are at Cave Joel's Cast. If you want to email us, it's cavejoelscast@gmail.com. I am at Resident Stevel on Twitter. You are at
Extraordinary.
You are at
Mr. Oprah.
And you are at
Amy_Elise ELYSE.
You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna get like
I'm
one more
not.
flower.
Flower.
One more follower.
One
You
more
can't get your
flower.
back.
It'll be a daisy.
I'm not
It'll
really.
be a daisy.
What would you know?
That was the creepiest way you could have said that sentence.
I'm not interested in that flower.
Never mind.
We're the cave trolls and we're out. That was good, guys. That was awesome. Do you like that?
Yeah, it was fun.
I like our conversational podcast.
I did too. That was a lot of fun.
One topic that just goes everywhere.
Yeah, that was
always comes back, but
we have to make this. So back to the topic. Eh?
Anyways.
I just have to do that every time, otherwise I forget.